Have you ever noticed someone acting in a way that just feels off, but you can't quite figure out why? In this video, we're exploring some of the unusual behaviors that often show up in people who've experienced narcissistic abuse. While these reactions might seem odd at first glance, they're actually common coping mechanisms. By the time we're done, you'll have a deeper understanding of where these behaviors come from and how they serve as a form of emotional survival. Stick around until the very end for a bonus insight that flips the script and reveals a hidden strength many survivors develop. It's an empowering reminder of the resilience behind these behaviors. 1. Hypervigilance. Picture yourself walking alone in a dark forest, ears perked for every tiny sound, every crack of a twig or rustle in the bushes. That's what daily life can feel like for someone who's been emotionally abused by a narcissist. They're constantly alert, reading the room, scanning faces, picking up on subtle shifts in tone or body language. It's not paranoia, it's protection. This state of heightened awareness helps them avoid emotional ambushes and navigate tense situations before they even escalate. Sure, it can be exhausting, but it's also a testament to the survivor's adaptability. They've developed a kind of emotional radar, a skill forged in the fire of past trauma. So the next time you see someone who seems overly cautious or on edge, they might not be anxious for no reason. They could be carrying the weight of experiences they've never spoken about. 2. People-pleasing behavior. Now imagine living every day as if you were hosting someone else's birthday party. You're constantly checking in. Are you okay? Can I get you anything? Is everything perfect? That's what people-pleasing can look like for those who've dealt with a narcissist. This tendency is more than just being nice. It's a learned response, an attempt to stay safe by keeping others happy. After dealing with someone who made their worth conditional, survivors may go out of their way to avoid conflict or criticism. Pleasing others becomes a form of self-preservation. They're not just trying to be liked, they're trying to prevent emotional fallout before it happens. It's a powerful example of how deeply emotional abuse can shape someone's daily behavior. After dealing with a narcissist's unpredictable reactions, many survivors become incredibly good at reading the room. They learn to sense shifts in moods and preferences almost instinctively. Not because they want to, but because they have to. It becomes a way to stay safe, to sidestep confrontation before it starts. But this people-pleasing behavior isn't only about avoiding blow-ups. It's also about chasing approval, something they were trained to believe they needed to feel valued. They start looking for that invisible pat on the back, the reassurance that they're doing things right. Here's the upside. This ability to tune into others can actually be a strength, when it's kept in balance. When survivors learn to pair that awareness with self-respect and boundaries, it becomes a superpower, not a sacrifice. The key is learning that they don't have to trade their own happiness just to keep others comfortable. 3. Self-isolation. Now think of a turtle. The second it senses danger, it pulls back into its shell, a safe space where nothing can touch it. That's a lot like what some survivors do after enduring emotional abuse from a narcissist. They don't vanish because they hate people or don't enjoy connection. They retreat to protect themselves. It's not about loneliness, it's about safety. Sometimes, the world just feels too loud, too overwhelming, too risky. So they step back, creating distance to heal and breathe. It's a form of self-preservation. This kind of isolation gives them space to process what happened without the added pressure of pretending everything is fine. To others, it might look like withdrawal, but inside, it's often a period of deep emotional repair. And here's the hopeful part. This phase doesn't last forever. It's part of the healing process. With time, support, and self-compassion, many survivors begin to reconnect with the world in a healthier, more empowered way. That shell, it doesn't stay closed. when they're ready, they come out stronger than before. If you're still with us, I hope this video is bringing you some clarity. If it resonates, go ahead and give it a like, drop a comment, or hit subscribe. Your thoughts matter. They help grow this conversation and create a safe space for others going through the same journey. 4. Excessive apologizing. Picture playing a video game where the rules change every few seconds and any move could trigger a hidden trap. That's how life can feel for someone who spent time under a narcissist's control. To survive, they learn to apologize constantly, like it's their personal shield against backlash. And it's not just for the obvious stuff like accidentally bumping into someone. These folks apologize for everything: the bad weather, a delayed delivery, even just existing in the wrong mood. Their sorry reflex becomes automatic. It's not just about manners, it's a built-in defense system. They're trying to preemptively smooth things over, to keep things calm before conflict even has a chance to start. It's less about guilt and more about survival. But here's the good news. Once they become aware of this pattern, they can start to break it. With support, encouragement, and maybe even some humor about how often they say sorry, they can slowly reset that reflex. Because the truth is, they don't need to apologize for being human or for things out of their control. 5. Difficulty making decisions. Ever found yourself torn between chocolate and vanilla ice cream? Now imagine feeling that kind of indecision with almost every choice you make. That's the reality for many survivors of narcissistic abuse. After spending so much time being told their opinions don't matter, or worse, being punished for making the wrong choice, they start to doubt their judgment altogether. What seems like hesitation is often the result of years of second-guessing. Survivors can struggle with decisions, big and small, from what to wear, to how to respond to a text, to choosing a life path. But this isn't about being indecisive by nature. It's the scar tissue left behind from always being told they were wrong. The good news? That internal compass can be recalibrated. With time, patience, and people who support their autonomy, survivors can rebuild their confidence. Each choice they make, no matter how minor, is a step toward trusting themselves again. So, if you ever see someone struggling with what looks like a simple decision, offer a little grace. That moment might be more than a choice. It might be part of their healing. And with time, they could end up being the strongest, most intuitive decision-maker in the room. 6. Obsessing over personal relationships. Ever catch yourself replaying a conversation in your head, wondering if what was said meant something more? Now imagine doing that with every interaction, every glance, every text, every offhand comment. That's the world many survivors of narcissistic abuse live in. They become hyper-focused on analyzing relationships, almost like detectives searching for hidden meanings or red flags. But this isn't about being nosy or overly dramatic. It's a learned behavior, a survival strategy. When you've lived through a relationship where words rarely matched actions, you start questioning everything. It's how they try to protect themselves from being caught off guard again. But here's the hopeful truth. This habit doesn't have to be forever. With time, healing, and a whole lot of self-compassion, survivors can begin to quiet that internal voice and enjoy relationships for what they are, not what they fear they might be. The mind can unlearn old fears and learn new ways to feel safe, and with enough support, they'll eventually feel confident enough to put down the magnifying glass and simply be in the moment. And now for the plot twist that might surprise you. the hidden gifts born from all that emotional chaos. Let's talk about two powerful traits, resilience and empathy. Picture someone who's gone through an emotional obstacle course. Sure, they're bruised, but they've also built strength in ways most people never see. Survivors of narcissistic abuse have learned how to get back up, again and again. It's not just grit, it's a quiet, deep-rooted strength that grows from surviving something hard and choosing to keep going anyway. And then there's empathy. After being made to feel invisible or unworthy, survivors often become incredibly attuned to the emotions of others. They've walked through fire and come out more compassionate, more connected, and more emotionally intelligent. It's like their experience turned them into emotional translators, able to understand others on a deeper level because they know what it's like to be misunderstood. So yes, narcissistic abuse leaves scars, but it also forges something beautiful. Survivors don't just make it through, they evolve. They develop an inner strength and emotional awareness that can truly light the way for others. Want to go deeper? Learn 16 powerful ways to protect yourself from narcissistic manipulation. Or, if you find yourself stuck in people-pleasing patterns, check out our video on how to set boundaries that stick. Thanks for being here. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us grow this community and reach even more people.